Pulsar NS 160 has been long time coming. The company took their own sweet time to bring it to the market, and now it is finally here, and we check out what this small NS is capable of. There is obviously no surprise on what it looks like. It looks almost similar to the larger NS. The main changes are that it now gets a different swing arm, different suspensions, smaller wheels and different brakes. The good news is that it shares the same perimeter frame from the bigger NS. Coming to the engine, the Pulsar NS 160 actually gets a different engine and not the one we have seen before on the AS 150. It has a new cylinder, new piston and a new balancer shaft, all working in tandem with a 4-valve configuration that is ignited by a twin spark setup that we better know as DTSI. This oil-cooled 160cc engine produces 15.5 horses of power at 8,500 rpm and 14.6 Nm of torque at 6,500 rpm. This small engine has the same typical character of the larger NS and loves to rev. It is refined and slight vibes creep in only at the rev limit. But with an engine that revs so happily, you instantly wish you had more power. The 0 to 100 takes upwards of 15 seconds and top speed on the speedo was 121 km per hour. Comfortable highway speeds is around the 80 km per hour mark and mileage hovered around 38 km to the liter. The 5-speed gearbox is sure-footed and moves up and down the gears with a confident feel. The low bottom end torque is compensated by really short first and second gears, but you still need to be working that gearbox to maintain momentum, especially in city conditions. Bajaj has also made sure to give a kickstarter on this bike, as a lot of the 150 segment buyers look for this reassurance in terms of possible issues. Moving on to the handling of the NS 160, things are well mannered. The bike feels nimble and easy to maneuver in all conditions. If you're pushing the bike, then it clearly shows its pedigree. It's fun and confident around corners. But it has a slightly larger turning radius than its competitors, so slow speed squeezing through traffic it's not its strong point. But a thing of actual concern is for the shorter riders, as the seat height is of 805 mm. Shorter riders will tiptoe a bit, but the overall weight of just 142 kg will make sure you are always in control. The front suspension is right at the sweet spot. It soaks the road conditions well, yet remains firm enough to avoid massive nosedives. The rear is of course preload adjustable and you can set it up depending on your needs. A huge plus point on NS 160 is the ground clearance of 176 mm, and it's the highest in the segment. Being a motorcycle that has to tackle the daily dose of speed breakers and potholes, this is much appreciated. Coming to the braking, the front gets a 240 mm disc and is spot on when it comes to actual braking performance. It is sharp and had no noticeable fade even after prolonged use. The rear brake though misses out on a disc and instead gets a 130 mm drum, which was actually a surprise as the disc setup was obviously expected. If you've ridden the bigger NS, then most of the bike will already be familiar to you. The switch gear, the handlebars and the instrument console all remain the same and are carried over. But honestly, that in no way is a deal breaker, as what you get is a very potent and a rev-happy little bike that is easy and fun to ride.